Good afternoon, everybody. This is your boy D Mac. Let's talk. So, it's Texas. It's summertime in Texas. So, from now to around about September time frame, y'all gonna see me in tank tops a lot because it's just hot out here. So, let's get that out of the way. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the shares. Thanks for the subs. I love each and every one of you, and I appreciate you for everything. So, let's go ahead and get in the topic. Um, who taught us that telling was a bad thing? Because I remember when I was little, I used to always hear nobody likes a tattletale. And, hearing that over and over for years planted a seed in my mind that if I tell, I'm the bad person instead of being the good person doing the right thing whenever somebody else is doing something wrong that's going to be detrimental to somebody else or maybe even yourself, and you tell me that me telling on them makes me the bad person. This is the thing that's planted into our minds as children. And so we grow up with that mentality, and it causes so much damage and destruction. First off, let me see this. Um, when I was a child, I went through sexual assault. And one of the things that stopped me from saying anything about it was that seed that was planted in my mind that telling makes you the bad person. Nobody likes a tattletale. And so, in my mind, if I would have told it, I would have been the bad person in the scenario. As wrong as that was, you got to think about it. I was an 8-year-old child, so my reasoning wasn't up to par at that age. And so this is what I thought, and this is why I carried something for so long, and it damaged every relationship that I had ever been in. And I'm not saying that that's the core reason why I kept it to myself, but I'm saying that was a contributing factor to why I kept it to myself because I was always told to never be a tattletale. And we see this in our communities as well, and it's destroying us at a rapid pace. And we need to kill that concept and that whole thing. Don't ever teach your child that nobody likes a tattletale. That's one of the most toxic and destructive things that you can do because you look at our neighborhoods now. People go out here in our neighborhoods and they're murdering people at an alarming rate, and people won't say nothing because they don't want to be seen as a snitch. They don't want to tell. But yet and still life is being lost on a daily. And then they won't tell until it comes down to one of theirs dying. Now, when it hits home, oh, all of a sudden it's okay for you to tell because it was your child or your spouse or your sibling that was murdered. Nah, we got to get rid of all of this error thinking. All of these things that we have been taught in error, we need to get rid of it now because it's destroying us. This is part of the destruction that we go through. And we go about talking about, nah, don't tell this and don't tell that, but it's okay to tell whenever it's something that benefits you. This is very, very wrong. We've definitely went off track. Um, I'm not going to tell my children that. Well, I did tell my children that. I ain't even going to lie because back then I was in the same mindset as everybody else. I was in the hood, and that's what we were taught. So that's what I taught them. But later on, I had to come back and I had to change that. No, you tell. You tell it. Whenever there's something taking place, that you feel uncomfortable with and you want something to be done about it, you tell it. And the only people that seem to do that is our people. Everybody else tell it. We sit here and we pick at the white ladies and call them Karens and stuff, but they understand the concept of telling. They understand the concept of protecting themselves. They understand the concept of getting some help for the situation that they're in to get out of that situation. And we as black people don't do that. And that's why we stay in the situations that we stay in. And I go back to our neighborhoods. We have so many people in our neighborhoods who love to call people snitches. But who was it? Styles P from the Locks. Salute to you, my brother. He said it the best. You're not a snitch unless you out here in the streets and you into the street stuff and that's your lifestyle. That's what you do every day. If you go and tell on the people who doing the same thing that you doing, yeah, that constitutes as a snitch. But if you're a regular civilian out here working every day and just trying to live a peaceful life and you have some things come across like that and you say something about it, you are not a snitch. You are a citizen doing your duty. That's exactly what you are. So black people, let's get this thing out of our mind that you're snitching if you tell on these murderers in our neighborhood. They out here killing our babies. And y'all think it's okay for us to sit back and keep our mouths closed? And it ain't out of fear. Some of it is out of fear, but a lot of it's not out of fear. It's just out of the simple fact that we've had that seed planted in our head that telling makes us a bad person, as opposed to the bad person who we're telling on and getting out of our neighborhood so that our neighborhood can remain safe or be safer. This is that era teaching we got to stop. We have to stop it now. It's destroying us. It's destroying our children. And now you see it working with our kids because check this scenario out. So we tell our kids not to tell. Nobody likes a tattletale. But then something happens in the house and the kids don't tell. What's the first thing we say? Well, why you ain't say nothing? We sending kids mixed signals and we need to stop. We need to, as adults, we need to stop and realize what we're doing. We need to grow up and we need to get some understanding and some knowledge so that we can teach our children correctly. Because the old way that I was taught, a lot of that stuff I have to dump out of my mind and out of my heart and out of my spirit. And I have to fill it in with instruction from God, instruction from the Holy Spirit, so that I can be correct in how I deal with people. But you know, that's just a process that we go through as people. But stop telling these kids not to tell. They need to tell. They need to learn how to tell on a alarming rate. They need to start telling like all of these other ethnicities who have no problem telling about the offense that are being done to them. We're getting done all types of ways. We're going through so much stuff and we feel like we can't tell anybody. So we keep it to ourselves or we try to exact justice on our own. And then we end up putting ourselves in a situation because somebody gonna tell on us. Best believe that they gonna tell on us. So I'm gonna say it like this. Don't come to my neighborhood with anything crazy if you don't want to get told on. Because around here, we don't tolerate gang violence. We don't tolerate anybody coming in and making this a dangerous area for our children. We work hard for what we have, and we work hard to be in a place where our children are protected and that they have an opportunity to grow up and become something, not another statistic by one of your bullets. So yeah, we gonna tell. We gonna tell everything. And I'm gonna teach my grandbabies, hey, a tattletale is all right with me. If anybody's offending you, if anybody's doing something to you to harm you or hurt you, you better tell it. Because if you don't, it can destroy your life. You will end up with all types of psychosis. You will end up with low self-esteem. You will end up with all types of issues because you don't want to tell it. Because that makes you a bad person. We need to stop with these horrible narratives that we're teaching our children because we're setting them up for failure. So all of you parents out there who have taught your children that, you better swallow your pride and go and tell your children that you was wrong. Because this is one of the reasons why our children are dying at such a rapid rate in the streets. I ain't telling, I ain't no snitch. Okay, they ain't no snitch, but they gonna be in a ditch pretty soon. That's what you want? Keep it up. This is your boy D Mac. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word gonna always heal you. I'm out.